Chapter 35. 5:30. Time to go to practice. 2 days on weight training. We have a long journey ahead of us. Coach said in my dream. Might as well enjoy the ride. I blanked. Football didn't mean the same thing to me anymore. What was different? I was tired. So tired. 7 o'clock. Time to get out for school. 7:30. Need to leave for school. 7:50. It's too late. Why can't I get up? Because I'm waiting for Jung. I'm watching for her to come up and here and say, "Yo, get your lazy butt out of bed, Opa. I knew you're not sick, just avoiding reality." But she's not here. She's gone. Forever. I pull the covers over my head, close my eyes, and sleep for another few hours. When I just couldn't sleep anymore, I wandered around the house. And Abuji were gone. They left me a note saying I didn't have to go to school. Miss Nelson was out somewhere, too. She left me a pile of peanut butter and honey sandwiches, some wild rice and sausage hot dish. The house was quiet, so quiet, I grabbed the sandwiches off the counter. I walked into school just as classes were breaking for lunch. All eyes were on me, like I was a ray butterfly impaled under glass. This time I wasn't Chan, the new boy who is also Asian. I was Chan, the king who lost his sister. The car piled like the Red Sea to let me pass. I wanted to tell me the death wasn't catching my feet. Through force of habit, made their way to the gym. The guys looked at me like I was Jesus or Lazarus or Elvis after the resurrection. Take your pick. "Hi," said Oprah. "Hey, Chan," said Leland. Everyone else was silent, staring. "So I guess you're not coming to practice, huh?" Oprah said to me after lunch. I shook my head. "Are you?" "I don't know. Haven't gone all week." My perception of things had totally changed. The way I kaleidoscope those when you twist the knob. Football had once been the center of my universe. Now, with life and death intruding, I saw it for what it was, a colossal waste of time. It shouldn't have ever mattered, but it had. So it was a stupid analogy had been right all along. "You're not actually thinking about going, are you?" Oprah studied his sambas. "I think it might help you, you know. The team needs us. No use sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves." Everything was coming to a slow rolling stop. Jung is there and you thinking about playing football? Great spots began to dance before my eyes. "Chan, listen. I know she's dead. We can't do anything about it." Oprah's hand, holding a carton of milk, trimming and a few white drops spill out. "So why can't we finish what we started on the field? This means a lot of us. To the town. I can't believe this. She's not even cold in the ground, and it's just business as usual for you. I thought you loved her." A vein traveled in Miko's temple. His skin was so pale. I could see it clearly. I did love her. When you realize Oprah's voice, usually so slow, was trending comically high. Playing ball has always helped me deal with things. It might even keep me from hurting myself. Is that all right? Your Highness? "Yeah, sure. Do whatever the hell you want, you shallow yerk." I wheeled around and sprinted away, knocking people over like 10 pins. Maybe it was a mistake to come back to school, but I didn't know for the life of me where to go. So I went to Spanish. I was surprised to see Coach waiting outside of the door when the last class ended. He was leaning easily against the lockers. "Mr. Casual himself. I blinked. "How are you, son?" I shrugged. "Mind if I walk with you?" "Sure, whatever." There was no way he was going to try to get me to come back to football. "I'm sorry about your sister. I don't know her too well. Knew she was an outstanding math student, but I am very sorry." "I am too," I said, my stock answer. I mean, with everyone coming up to you and saying they're sorry when they beyond sorry, what are you supposed to say? Do you have some time to talk?" he said, stopping, as the scaby kids screamed all around us. "Sure," I said. "How does Hell House Cafe sound?" Don't you have to go to practice? Kenny, there. It's not a problem. Kenny's there. It's not a problem. At Helga's I had a hot chocolate. Coach drank cups and cups of coffee. I could tell they hadn't put enough ground in it. It probably stays weak and sore. You get good at hugging these things when you go work at a convenience store. So what do you want to talk about? Nothing in particular, Coach said, lifting the chipped cup to his lips yet again. On the far wall, an enormous fish was hanging, mouth open, like it was about to jump on a fly. I'd like to know how you're doing, how your family going. About as well as you expect. I placed the hot chocolate in front of me like a barrier. What was your sister like? She wasn't someone you could describe in 10 minutes. Were so rude. I wish immediately I could take them back. I sighed. I'm sorry. She was best, that's all. It's hard to talk about. Coach looked at me in the eye. Chan, I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and the teams too. I couldn't look at him, so I looked at his hands instead. They were taping the coffee cup. The nails were square, clipped, perfectly clean. What was I doing here? Too much more of this, and I was going to bawl like a baby. I didn't want him to know how close I was to breaking. To distract myself, I started to blab. I blabbed about junk, about being a twin, about how hard it was to leave LA. Once the words spilled out, they kept coming, like they had a life of their own. Before I knew it, I blabbed about what happened in the locker room that cold, lonely day. When I looked up, Coach's face scared me. What do you think jumped me? He breathed. I sat up. I someone expect Coach not to listen too closely. I honestly don't know. It was true. I didn't really. Okay, maybe there was also some warped sense of loyalty in that answer, but what proof did I have? Chan, you have to help me out. I, I don't know what all goes in the locker room. I didn't see anything. I said, what would you able to do with some, well, guess? Get the bottom of this. I don't know what one my any boy who engaged in that kind of conduct to have privilege of playing on the team. I meant it. I have to know. I I focus on my own fingers, nails biting on the quick. I found myself wishing I left something to bite. Don't let me down on this, son. Coach said his eyes were boring two holes into my skull. I could have liked to get up and run screaming from the table, but I was trapped. I tried to distract myself by concentrating on my breathing. No good. If it was as if a huge vacuum cleaner had come in and sucked all the air out of Helga's cafe. Okay, then Coach said, spreading out his two hands. I'm just going to start naming names. It hasn't Sanderson, was it? I didn't say urge to laugh. Yeah, right. Leland Farrell? Coach took the names off his fingers, like bullets. Pow, pow, pow. I guess Greg Reeses is about all that's left, he said. Is he the one? I did not, or shake my head, or move in any way. It didn't matter. It was like he could read my mind. He sighed, okay. But then he looked down and saw he had one finger left. He missed one last guy. Krieger? He sounded like he was going to choke. Don't move, I told myself. Don't let on a little necessary roughness, huh? I shook my head, but I think Coach knew. Somehow he must have just known. There was no denying that the disappointment on Coach's faces. His mouth opened like that mounted fish, as if I were groping for some explanation, some way to get things right. Everyone knew we couldn't win state without rum. He reached over and put a hand on my shoulder. From somewhere, dripping coffee fell on a body unhiced. I'm going to take action on this immediately, he said, his voice grim. And in the meantime, if there any time you need, let me know. His hand squeezed my shoulder. What would life be like if Coach were my apogee? We could talk, really talk, and do stuff together, and I wouldn't always feel like I felt some mysterious taste on only Abuji knew the answers to. Loudly of me to think like that, huh? And Chan, if by any chance you want to come to practice, the team waiting for you. But it is your decision, and of course we'll respect it. Respect it. Whatever it is. Thanks, he said. I said. I knew Miko was thinking of going back. He kind of ticked me off. Coach shook his head. Haven't seen him, but maybe he'll be back. If he's anything like his father, old Rip, whenever he was mad or sad or whatever, he would just come and let it all out on the field. Someone guys are like that, I guess. I said. All the fun's for sort of gone out of all the time. I understand, son. I do. I just want you to know why you still got your place on the team if you decide you want in. By the time I got home, it was getting dark. I put on my sneakers and sweat and went outside. I had no idea where I was going. I just ran, left the wheel of my body jolting over the tar, take over everything. I was just hitting my stride when I noticed a car was slowing. Beep, hey Chan. It was rainy. Wanna lift? Until that moment, I had realized how much I wanted to see her. I hopped in the car. I've been missing you, she said tentatively, as if she wasn't sure I remembered who she was. I miss you a lot. I miss you too. I wish there was something I could do. Don't do anything, and please don't say you're sorry. I slightly over and put a sweetie hand on her knee, and she thought she smelled like flowers, jasmine, maybe. It was too cold to sit in the car, so I invited her in, and we went up to my room. In the semi-darkness, we just sat, shared body head. I love that I didn't have to talk to Rainy. If I stopped talking to Sojin for 2 minutes, she'd be all over me, asking what's wrong, what did I do? Not Rainy, she just grabbed in the silences. When we came down, I was a little surprised to see Abaji sitting in the living room. There was no car in the driveway, so he must have walked home. When he saw us, he rose. You should never bring a girl up to your room, he said. You know better than that. Sometimes use the sight of someone, like the way they happen to look at the particular minute, can set you off. I looked at Abaji, and this awful feeling rose up in me. A feeling mixed up from the time he almost hit me, the way that told us we were moving, how he made John feel so bad about wanting to date. Abaji just pulled his reaction out of me. The way Pepper pulls a reaction out of your nose. Please speak English, father, I said. We have a guest. Abaji was appalled right up before the boiled. He shocked. It scared me, thrilled. You heard what I said. Abaji, I don't care what you say anymore. Something inside me twisted violently. My nerves hummed like live wires. Chan reached for me, but then he seemed to think better of it and backed off. Why do I have to be left within the disobedient child? Abaji said. What are you saying? I yelled. That it would have been better if I had died instead of John? If you hadn't made us move here, she'd still be alive. Alive. It's all your fault. You and your stupid drug dealer brother. I turned to Rainy. I think you better go, she nodded. This was it. I decided. The walls were going to come down. The dams break. Abachi and I would finally have it out. But it was like I take a pin and deftly Abachi's spirit. Puffed! The fight drained from Abachi completely, and he turned and shuffled upstairs, leaving me alone. I went up to my room. There was still a faint trace of Rainy's perfume in the air, and it comforted me. I shut the door tight. Later that night, Oma called up. offering to bring me some dinner. I wasn't hungry. I lay in bed in the pitch blackness. I saw the car, the yellow subcompact. I saw the two girls in it, giggling and talking. Then the deer stepping out in the front of them, the car skidding out the road. I saw that the fear of John's face was the split second before impact. That last second she was alive and feeling, and all she was feeling was pure terror. Did she scream for someone? I couldn't help wondering. Did she call for me? For the first time, I just lay there and cried.